Greetings and welcome to my channel Midnight Contemplations Art. Well, today I'll be doing a 3-color challenge, which is, as the name suggests, a challenge where you use only 3 colors in your art. And I'm not sure why I did this one so late into the channel. I was actually planning on having it the second week, but I didn't. So this is where I got my colors, just a random hex code color generator. And I got, well, an off-white color, a sort of dark, like light umber, and a blue. So here I'm just thumbnailing out what it could look like. I had a bunch of different ideas, but I had like one basic idea and I sort of just went with that. The sketch I had done beforehand, which I think isn't really common practice within like these things, but I did it anyway, so there's that. So I just drew like a random elf, I guess this is. I don't know what I was doing, but I just did it anyway. So there's that. So with the colours I got, I couldn't really think of what I could do because well, they were quite different, and one of the colours was literally very close to white. And its practicality wasn't all that much on a white piece of white canvas. So it was a bit harder to get everything done, but I think I did well enough. Another thing that made it difficult is that the sketch was also meant to be in the same colours as the finished piece, so it was hard to see where the differentiation in tones would be. However, I think like with the colours I chose, I think I did pretty well for the colours I got. Nearer the end it gets a bit harder to do things because I wanted to make it look like a finished piece. I didn't want it just to be like block colours because I don't really put in just block colours very often. Now here's where I decided to put the sketch in a sort of brown colour just so I could see what's going on, but I do change it back to its normal colour. So I decided to do the hair sort of the whitish colour. I got the off-white, I did the skin in the like umber colour, and I did the sweater he was wearing, the turtleneck, in blue, while the rest of the suit was in white. I don't really know why, now that I think about it, that's a very different choice. But I liked the colour combination, and I also tried to go with the 60-30-10 rule. I'm not sure if many of you have heard of it. It's basically where in art you want to have 60% of your character be one colour, 30% a different colour, and 10% a different colour. This is just to make sure that like the piece is easier for the eyes to read. So I tried to follow that as best as I could with this, so it turned out okay. So this is where I changed the sketch colour again. Well, I guess technically line art, but my line art is my sketch and my sketch is my line art. A lot of people think that's very strange, but I think that's just how because I'm very bad at line art. If I ever try and line something, it always turns out terrible and I hate it. So I've just stopped lining my work. Except when I'm using markers, but that's a different story entirely. So I decided to like put in a few details in blue and then deopacify it so it looked not like it was blue. This was quite difficult because my mind was consistently screaming at me like, this isn't the right colour to use here, this isn't right. And overall, this is why you shouldn't use desaturated colours for your shadows, except for like the very dark ones, because it does end up looking muddy. But this is probably the best I could get for shadows in this piece, so it's alright. I also gave him a bit of a mole under his eye just to add a little bit of interest to the piece. Gave him some eyelashes, darkened up areas. Like, overall, I don't hate the piece. I do think it did turn out a bit like muddy and strange, but I guess that's just to be expected with the colours that I got, because most of them were very bright and could easily domineer a piece just by themselves. Then I used white for the highlights, which you shouldn't do, and I know that, but it was the only light colour I had at my disposal. So you can very clearly see that I used white, which is not what you're meant to do. You're meant to use sort of a light colour, but not like white. but it's probably the best I could do in the situation, and in fact I think the skin looks alright. It looks a little bit like strange, sure, but like it doesn't look terrible. Added the highlights to his eyes. Now it's time to go on to the other details. Here I'm just darkening up further, trying to add emphasis to areas where usually I would have put in my saturated and desaturated shadows. My god, I can't speak. But I can't obviously do that in this piece. So once I was finished with the skin, I sort of moved on to other areas. So then I tried to do the cardigan, and I wanted to emphasize sort of like the fact that it was like one of those knitted sweater things where it's like lines going down of the knitting. I don't know what those lines are called, but whatever they're called, I wanted to emphasize them. And it was quite difficult because it was basically a choice between putting them in white and putting them in the ochre colour. I did end up putting them in the ochre like umber colour, which probably wasn't the best decision, but I think it looks okay if you don't look at it too closely. But now that I've said it, all of you are looking and all you can see how weird it looks. So here I'm just shading in the blazer, suit jacket, whatever you want to call it. So I sort of just did basic like pillow shading for this one. Like, I know suits have very specific rules for how to shade a suit, and I just didn't care for this piece because this piece was more about using colour effectively and using only 3 colours to make a finished looking piece, which I kind of did. Now I do know I could have done better, but I guess this is just what it turned out to be. So here I'm doing the hair, and I'm just sort of shading it the way I would normally, and then desaturating it as I would. So the way I do hair is very strange. I'm not really sure if it's even a method, or if I'm just sort of kidding myself that it is. So I wanted to have it almost as if it's like a gradient, but not really. Like, with many people with lighter coloured hair, like people with very light blonde hair, usually at the roots it's a bit darker. I'm not sure exactly why, maybe to do with like pigmentation or something, or how like blonde hair works, but I've seen that often. So I kind of wanted to do that since this person's hair is basically white. Honestly, I was thinking about what story I could give to this character, and I have no idea. Cause like, he's probably not a human, considering his ears, but it's like, what could he be? So I might actually try and build up this character later on, but I'm not sure if I would. Just because I don't think like there's enough to go off of to give him a personality and everything. But maybe one day he'll come out as an OC and you can see him then. Also, just a quick note, would you, as my viewers, appreciate me doing something a little bit different for next week? Sort of like a show review, but also with fan art. So I'll be talking about the show, but then drawing something from the show. Would that be interesting, or do you think that would be a complete and utter waste of time? Please tell me. I'm sort of planning something. I mean, I'm probably going to do it either way, just because I don't have many people who comment. Intent, please comment. It gives, like, makes me feel validated, okay? So I tried to do a background, just a very basic gradient, and then I did some clouds. Nothing like overly special. I just wanted to give it some sort of background, and this is what it came out to be. I don't like it particularly, I could have done better, but overall I think it's nice. So here is the finished piece. It is, well, it's alright. I think for the 3 colours I had, I did quite well. I could have done better if I put a little bit more effort into it, and perhaps if I allowed myself more leniency with the rules, but I didn't. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, all of that YouTube stuff. Thank you.